All right, so what we got here? Another one from Wolf Street, I think, to start the day with. And by the way, being Monday and all, the guy I told you I hired to help me give my little commission money thing back to cryptos back to those of you who want it back for the whole BS with Bit Petite. He's working on it. Again, it's going to take some time to track all the stuff, so just bear with us. It will be handled 100%. But just to give you a little update, he didn't start on it this weekend. He started Monday, essentially. Anyways, U.S. gross national debt spikes by $640 billion in 8 weeks. I remember specifically talking about this maybe 3 months ago. I'm not even sure if it was that long. And I was looking at some of the jumpings up of the debt. And remember how the Treasury Department uses special things that it can do to move money and not pay out certain things to keep itself funded until Congress comes to an agreement and debt ceiling nonsense on it, right? And we said then, okay, well, when they decide to kick that can, there'll be an initial lump, boom, hit to the national debt. We're expecting that. And there was some number. And then I remember saying, the thing I was reading was talking about, don't even expect that. It's going to go way higher than that. And anyway, so I think the number we were saying was absurd if we get to that level by the end of the year was 800 billion. It's 640 billion. So again, this is 8 weeks. That's 2 months. I'm trying to think when I did this video, I said 3 months. It could very well be within the realm of this, which means we're a stone's throw away from getting to the insane $800 billion. And we still got 2 months to go before the end of the year. And of course, then they're supposed to deal with the whole debt ceiling thing anyways in December. Remember, we kicked the can again, like we do every flipping time. Anyways, U.S. gross national debt spikes by $640 billion in 8 weeks. But the debt ceiling charade is back. The debt ceiling charade being played out every few years in Congress makes the entire world shake its collective head and pray that Congress will, for the umpteenth time, raise the dang thing, or at least suspend it. The other option is a U.S. default, the global consequences of which are just too ugly to imagine, even for Congress. In its infinite wisdom, Congress did not raise the debt ceiling in September. It only suspended it through December the 8th, after which the horse trading will start all over again. But Congress is busy listening to lobbyists about the tax cuts, who gets them and who pays for them, and the debt ceiling isn't even on the back burner. So here we go again. But this charade has some peculiar effects beyond its entertainment value. For months on end, it covers up the true extent of the U.S. government debt and its continued surge. Then suddenly, the floodgates open. Over just these 6 years, the debt has ballooned by $5.7 trillion, or 39%, from $14.8 trillion to $20.5 trillion. In the chart below, which, in case you want to see the trajectory, I think this is something we all need to kind of look at as Americans, with an oh crap factor in the background, to be honest with you. Let me go ahead and pop that up for you. In the chart below, note the last 3 debt ceiling fights. The long flat lines in 2013, 15, and 17 followed each time by an enormous spike. This is what I was talking about 2-3 months ago, when the debt ceiling was either lifted or suspended, and when the extraordinary measures with which the Treasury keeps the government afloat were reversed. The current post-debt ceiling spike has reached $640 billion and continues not to grow, but to surge. The last 3 debt ceiling spikes, on October the 17th, 2013, the day after the debt ceiling was raised, gross national debt jumped $328 billion and then continued to surge. By November 25th, it had jumped by $464 billion to $17.2 billion. On November the 2nd, 2015, the day after the debt ceiling was raised, gross national debt jumped $340 billion and then continued to surge. By the end of November, it had spiked by $650 billion to $18.8 billion. On September the 8th, 2017, the day after the debt ceiling was suspended, gross national debt jumped by $329 billion and by now has spiked by $640 billion to $20.5 trillion flipping dollars. This spike is somewhat lower than my estimate in August 21st of an, okay, so here it is. There it was. That's what I was looking for. This spike is somewhat lower than my estimate on August 21st of an $800 billion spike, but it's not through spiking yet either, right? So that's kind of what I was saying. You know, we're not done yet. We still got, potentially a couple months here to go. We don't want to see it hitting 800. That's just a massive, insane number, which is why he threw it out there last time as this is kind of an insane number, but here's where I think this could go. It's 640. It's almost there. Point taken, right? Those flat lines in the chart normally appear only once every few years when the debt hits whatever amount Congress puts in place as the debt ceiling at the end of the last debt ceiling fight, but this time it's different. As it stands, a new flat line will commence on December the 8th. The Treasury Department has to borrow to pay for expenditures that the U.S. Congress mandates the government to spend, but with the debt ceiling, Congress says, yes, you must spend this money, but if you don't bring in enough taxes, they laugh during tax cut time, you cannot borrow the difference. You just might have to default. As absurd as the concept of a debt ceiling may even seem, Congress is unlikely to do away with it. At the same time, it is always and will always compromise, if at the very last moment, to avoid a default. There will be no default. Lawmakers are political animals, but they're not stupid. And on November the 1st, the Treasury warned the following. If Congress fails to increase or further suspend the debt limit by December the 8th, Treasury, as it has in the past, can take certain extraordinary measures to continue to finance the government on a temporary basis. Extraordinary measures will allow the government to continue to meet its obligations through January 2018. It is currently too early to provide a more precise forecast as to how long the extraordinary measures will last. So the preliminary out-of-money date is January 31st. Congress knows that this out-of-money date can be pushed out, and with a good dose of well-honed congressional brinkmanship, the flat line in the chart might extend into February, maybe March. It will then be followed by, guess what, another spike. The trend line of debt growth out the wazoo, out the freaking wazoo, will remain intact. And if the tax cut passes, the trend line will get even steeper until it hits, guess what, the next debt ceiling limit set forth, which is why I'm sure President Donald Trump is saying, can we just get rid of this thing? Each and every time it comes up, there's a fight, there's this or that. We always raise the damn thing. It happens every single time. Why are we wasting our time? Why are we wasting our money, taxpayer, all this stuff? Why are we wasting it? Just freaking get rid of it. But again, as I've said a whole bunch of times on this channel, I just got done saying it yesterday. Why are we borrowing all this money and debt ceiling? Just print the money, assign the value, don't borrow it, create money out of thin air like you've been doing. They control all the prices of everything, the Wall Street to the commodities, everything that matters, they control the price anyways. So you're not going to find inflation over here or this over there. They control it all. Print the damn money, pay your bills, and shut the F up. I mean, it's that simple. But then the bankster class won't be getting their lion's share ransom of that interest on the debt. These old school rich families, they won't get theirs. And that's the key. That's why it remains in existence. We don't need it. It's the worst system ever designed. But let's just keep going with it. Let's just keep going. Technology changes. We go from steam engines to gasoline to, freaking rockets, space shuttle, autonomous vehicles now that can drive themselves, fully electric vehicles, battery technology. I'm doing this video live, green screen behind me. I mean, banking system, ancient freaking technology. Let's stick with that one. Let's not update that one. Then again, wait a minute. Maybe it's in progress and we don't quite recognize it yet. Hint, hint, cryptocurrencies. Maybe. We're not there yet. So, the Fed will announce the QE unwind in September, they did in September, and it's now following through. which, as I just read again, we're supposed to take off 10. It's actually 6, and we didn't really do much with the mortgage-backed securities. We'll get that next month. You know what I mean? And then what I say, next year, $600 billion a year will kick in of unwinding the Fed's balance sheet. Now it's just a tiny amount. You know, if you add up $10 billion a month, 10 months, that's $100 billion. 12 months, that's $120 billion. In other words, in 1 year. So they're going to take that, which they've already screwed up on October. They didn't meet their goal. First month, we're going to start. October 1st, didn't start. Second week, didn't start. Third, okay, finally, let's get busy. And then they're going to go to $600 billion a year. Remember, $120 billion is what they're currently at. And this is just month number 1 that we just passed, October. And they still didn't do the 10 that they said. But hey, we're going to ramp it up in a year to $600 billion a year from 120. And again, we're still got the debt ceiling nonsense. This is just unbelievable. This is why we need to stack our precious metals. We need to stack our cryptocurrencies. Sit back for the ride, buy other ones in the crypto world, whatever. But again, I still stand strong of hanging on to silver. I am still a massive precious metals fan because of what history has shown. You still have China, Russia, all these countries are still stockpiling precious metals as if it's the end of the freaking world. Why are they doing that? As Ben Bernanke says, it's gold money. Remember Ron Paul? It's gold money. No. Why do central banks hold it instead of diamonds or pearls or something? Tradition. Yeah. Hank Williams Jr., family tradition. So that's why I still have my stash of silver, so to speak, okay? I'm not getting rid of it. I'm not touching it. Although, had I needed to offload a bit of that to get into the crypto game if I wasn't already in it, I'm telling you now, I've told you before, I would have done so, okay? Just to get in on this, but I'm not going to get rid of all of it. And by the way, if anyone out there is on that same mindset, you have never been to sdbullion.com, which is Silver Doctor's website, their bullion website. If you look in the description box of my YouTube video, or you can just type it in, it's sdbullion.com/jsnip4. They give all new customers, in other words, you haven't been there yet, new customers a 10-ounce bar at spot price. No additional fee, actual spot price, plus a tiny shipping fee, which is typical. Pretty amazing if you haven't got it. Again, you should start at some point to collect. I'm not saying you have to collect a whole bunch, jump in there, 2 hands and collect all the silver you can. Believe me, I'm heavily focused on cryptos. I mean, obviously. And I can see where they're going, what they're doing in Bitcoin right now. I looked just a little while ago, but I want to be very accurate. And I say right now, 12:39 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday. Bitcoin, $7,500, 7,508, excuse me. Cliff High said the data shows, I already told you this a couple weeks, or a week or two or more back. Cliff High's data, $10,000. End of the year, 10,000. Do I think, so if it's at 7,500 and it's going to 10, that's a huge percentage jump. Quite large. Do I think silver is going to jump like that? Absolutely not. They control these damn things. We're waiting for them to have that mechanism blow up in their face so that we can finally see some real precious metals prices, right? So if I had a bunch of money, what would I do? If I had to pick right now, hands down, I'd go with honestly, I'd just dump it right into Bitcoin, make the safest bet play ever, because I don't have to worry about ICOs and this. Nope, just sit over here. I'll join Coinbase or whatever, and bang, here you go, Bitcoin, done. Sit on it. And then as that thing made some profit, oh my God, that 7,500 turned it into 10. Maybe I will get a little bit of silver with that profit. Then again, you might say, well, I want to get some silver now, get some Bitcoin or whatever now. Again, I'm talking to those of you who may not be into this stuff. But next year, Cliff High says, his data says $20,000 Bitcoin is going to be here. It's 7,500 now. I literally feel the same way I did several months back when Bitcoin was playing with 2,000, 2,500. Oh, it's almost 3,000. Where's the pullback? Cliffhead said, oh, there it is, $500 drop. Oh my God. Remember that? Do you guys remember that one? And it happened. How would you like $2,500 Bitcoin right now? What would you liquidate to get your hands on $2,500 Bitcoin? Even back then, knowing, if you knew with 100% certainty, by this time right now as I'm speaking to you, it would be $7,500 and highly probable 10,000 by the end of the year because of his same data set telling us that. I feel the same way as that is what I did when it was $400 and $500. And I'm sitting here going, should I get into it? He did say it was not coming back down. Oh, I don't know. 888, there it is. You know what? I think I will. And I started buying some Bitcoin at that point. I already had, 3 that I told you I shared with another guy. But at that point, we had 3 or whatever. I bought a little bit more, bought some more, 1,200, 13, bought some more. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean a lot more. I just one here, half of one there, that kind of a thing. And now here I am saying, boy, hey man, can you guys knock it down to 2,500? Like, can I jump back in at 20? Right. Those days are over. Those days are over. Anyways, got your, have a little silver, have just something to say I've got some. You never know where that crap can go when the club, loses control of this. And I do think cryptos will play a role in that, where the damn COMEX becomes irrelevant. We don't need you to set the price. We're going to use this thing. Blockchain technology, Anyways, peace out, my friends. Take care.